Hey everyone, I'm sure you seen or played the Halloween event this year in TDS, but I'm sure you have a fair share of complaints like the questionable monetization of the Battle Pass this event, but we will cover that a little later. But how is the actual gameplay of the knights in the event itself? For obvious reasons, I'm not going to talk about the story because you can just look at another video for that, and it would make the video longer than it has to be. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Frank, what the hell are you doing, man?
That's my character. I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage. And then I pick up the trash can and I smash the guy on the head.
Night 1 is pretty easy if you use the right towers. One thing I like they started doing was the option to have pre-made loadouts free of charge in the easy mode. In my opinion, this makes it easier for new players to have access to events, preventing them from missing out on an event they might really like, and allow them to get towers they might really like, including the event rewards from the Battle Pass, or some big event like the Hunt or the Classic event. Back to the night, the final boss itself has 15,000 HP in easy and 40 in hard. It can spawn, heal, and lower your DPS, but it's not really a problem if you have a bunch of towers like Minigunner. And with multiple Minigunners, the boss could be a total pushover. And that's pretty much night 1. Moving on to night 2, it's somewhat harder, but if you're playing your cards right, you should be able to beat this pretty fast and easy. If you don't leak, that is. But on the last wave, the difficulty does ramp up on both modes. But as long as you're selling and placing your towers, you should be able to beat the boss. As for the boss, it has 80,000 HP in easy and 400,000 HP in hard. Half its abilities are stun, but its Endbringer ability being the most annoying, because it multiplies its HP by 7.5 if you don't fix the computer before it spawns, and can lose a match no matter what towers you're packing. This annoying ability almost always kills, especially playing multiplayer, since its HP stacks. Worst case is a hard trio, which gives it 450,750 HP with this ability, which is a total game ender. So if this ever happened to you, you should have already left, because you can kiss this attempt goodbye. But other than that, night 2 was pretty good actually. But now we move on to the last night.
Telling you first, you got to unlock this thing. EJ, come! Water!
Now this was the hardest for me personally. Even the footage in the background required me to do a random trio. I know, I have a skill issue for needing it, but the reasons are pretty legit, because the difficulty on this night ramps up almost threefold. And unlike the last night, it doesn't have an ability that makes it impossible, but it does have its fair share of hard moments with the regular enemies. Because let me tell you, the enemies on this night are no joke. They can literally end your run even if you have the best towers you can place down. But let's get to the boss, since I don't want to bore you to death with all the enemies. If you played this night, you were either Monkeys Together Strong or Lone Wolf, which if you were a Lone Wolf, congrats to you for even beating it. The final boss is the Draco Bloxer, primordial form. This almost looks nothing like a Draco Bloxer, but moving on. This is the hardest boss in the event with 250,000 HP in easy mode and 1,250,000 HP in hard mode. And thank God it has no bullcrap like Endbringer. Even though it has a lot of HP and hard, it's a doable boss fight. I mean, just look at the YouTubers that done it. He is also able to ignore the path. However, since it's slow, it's an easy kill. If you're on easy, that is. Because on hard, once it loses half its HP, an ability is activated that basically sends it into phase 2 and makes it faster. Almost all of its abilities are spam spawn at this point, with luckily only 2 stun abilities. But if you have enough defense built, I'm sure this boss is easy. I don't know, never played. And fun fact, the bosses come out, although with some of their abilities not present, noticeably Conserver not having its Endbringer ability. The reward towers are alright. They could be good in certain circumstances, but again, those are certain circumstances. And with that, we reach the end of the nights and into my complaints. Getting back to that complaint earlier in the video, the devs made a second tier of the battle pass, like gacha games. Hell, it was a single purchase. Even if you had one of the VIPs, you still need to pay Bullbucks to unlock it, and there's no way to get free to play. And it's one of the reasons I didn't even buy or finish the battle pass at all. Hell, as soon as the first night dropped, Discord server was on lockdown. Almost like they knew they were gonna push out a bad update to the battle pass. Almost like they predicted the community was going to complain, and complain we did. This isn't even the first time they did this, but I'm too lazy to remember the updates and events they did it with. Although I'm sure you're able to find them on YouTube or with your own digging. You might be saying, the devs need to put food on the table, of course they're gonna need to do this eventually. Don't complain about it, they need to feed themselves too. The fact is, they never made you pay for the battle pass at all. Oh, the times you did need to pay for something, it was mostly just UGC in the game. That was all. Even after the lunar event, they made the UGC non-limited, aka regular, and they're not limited time, so I don't get why they're doing this. For the battle pass of all things, you can say the cracks really started to form with Mako DJ, with it needing to be paid and it almost costing $10 for it, and the wheel, which got it geo restricted in some countries for obvious gambling. Hopefully the Halloween event battle pass was just a test in the water. Hopefully all the backlash they received actually makes a difference and they start improving again. If you read the pause to read in the beginning, you would know the previous parts before this are outdated, and the obvious situation with the battle pass happened again. And we got a new event, Operation Ice. So, let's get into the new parts of the video. So for Operation Ice, we only have one map with an easy and hard mode difficulty. The map is a 3-lane, so you have to manage all 3 lanes. Not to mention 2 unique gimmicks. One is the spawner that goes up, that's represented by these wagons, and these barriers that you eventually lose. The enemies are alright, and the boss is actually a rerun of the Frost Spirit from 2021, and is a third boss to get a refight event. The second one being Krampus, and the first one being Jacobot. The fight felt like last year's Krampus boss. I wouldn't be surprised if they took some of Krampus' moves and copy and paste, but the map honestly makes up for it by giving a challenge with the limited space you get at the end. I personally like this challenge, but I think I want to move on to my conclusions before this video gets any longer. In conclusion, I think most of TDS looks like a free mobile game. In some areas, though. And I think the new towers and game modes look high quality. But it's starting to feel like an average EA game or flat-out pay-to-win game with how the skins and power-ups are being handled. And since the Halloween event, I miss the old Battle Pass. Even though it had some flaws, I generally liked it. But I liked the Battle Pass because it was free to play. And you didn't need to spend any Robux on it. Which is kind of disappointing when you're looking at the new Battle Pass. If you choose to spend on the new Battle Pass system, go ahead, I ain't stopping you, but I at least want you to remember what the old Battle Pass system was like. And in my honest opinion, TDS is starting to disappoint for some of us players with some of these new things they're doing in the game, and I'm gonna say this again, especially with the new Battle Pass. I think that's all I want to say before I leave TDS. Of course, this is not a permanent leave. I'll join back periodically for Roblox events and such. But for the long haul, I'm not going to be continuing playing. Thanks TDS community for giving me memories I will never forget. An enjoyable experience. I only hope that I get interested again and start playing. Because honestly, my fondest memories on Roblox were on TDS. But only time will tell if I come back naturally or don't come back at all. Like and subscribe, and with that, goodbye, TDS. And thanks for all the memories you have gave me.